every once in a while in your life, you're going to meet someone, maybe a love interest or maybe just a potential friend, who brings out the best in you. They get you. And when you're around them, you feel more alive. And what a good and happy thing this is. So rare. For some people, though, especially if they were emotionally neglected or not seen by their parents when they were small, this special kind of adoration of another person can happen more than occasionally. And if it's feeling like the only thing that brings you to life, like it's all you have, if it's complicating your other real relationships, it might be a problem. My letter today is from a woman I'll call Madeline, and she writes, "Hi, Anna. I have a question about limerence in friendships. I'm 20 years old, and I grew up in a family where both of my parents struggled with alcohol addiction." I'm going to read Madeline's letter all the way through, and then I'll come back and talk about the things I circled. All right. She says, "My father has been an alcoholic for most of my life while being also emotionally distant, and my mother developed her alcohol problem just recently, about 3 years ago, after getting a divorce from my father because of it. My mom is also struggling with her mental health, having panic attacks almost every week, showing signs of depression, and also having disordered eating. She did not want to get help for a long time, but unlike my father, was aware about her problem and willing to get better. Because of this, I've been feeling emotionally neglected for the past few years, as I had to regulate the feelings of my mom and other family members in order to keep the family in some kind of order. As a form of escape, I used to go to a local bar with my friends. I live in a small town, so everybody in this bar knew me and showered me with attention because I was young and pretty. It was at this bar where I met a guy that I cannot stop thinking about. First time I met him, he talked mostly to my friend, who's much more bubbly than me, and I just enjoyed their company. He was a musician, funny, intelligent, and I really admired his knowledge about music and art. It's quite hard to get me impressed, but with this guy, it happened quite quickly. At first, I thought he was just talking to us because he was interested in my friend, as most guys do, so I didn't pay much attention to him. I'm in a happy relationship of 7 years, so I'm looking for some amusement when I go out rather than a flirt. However, after we met for the second time, we really clicked and spent all evening talking to each other. I was happy to get some attention from somebody who seemed to just get me, as I thought he was into my friend and his interest in me was actually sincere. Me and my friend and him and his friend decided to crash at his place, and in the morning, he told me in front of everybody that he liked me. I just smiled and said that it's okay, but he should have already known what my reaction was going to be, as he knew that I had a boyfriend. He was a bit of a flirt, so I knew that he would not take this attraction too seriously, and that it would not stand in the way of us being friends, which I suddenly so desperately wanted, she says. After that day, I could not stop thinking about him. I started to go to that bar more often, but he, on the other hand, started traveling more, and I did not see him for months. When I finally saw him one day, he came right to our table to say hi, and he complimented me on something I recently posted on social media. He was looking, which I got a huge dopamine dose from. Although we did not see each other almost at all, he helped me to get a summer job in a company owned by his friend. So every day when I came to work, I was hoping he would stop by just so I could see him. And sometimes he did. I don't know what is wrong with me, although I can see his flaws. He drinks too much. He's 10 years older than me. He does not really have his life together, and I definitely do not want a romantic relationship with him. Still, a year later, after not seeing him for several months, I think about him and I just can't figure out why. I recently heard that he got a girlfriend, which he moved to another city with, and after hearing this news, I didn't feel hurt or jealous. I felt happy that he's doing fine and making good progress in his life. My question to you, Anna, is do you think someone can be limerent over a friend? I really just wanted him to be in my life, as I find him extremely interesting, caring, and fun to be around. I also kind of felt this way with my other very close friends in the past, where I was idolizing them, looking for every small sign that they cared about me, wanting to be with them all the time, and doing everything to please their expectations about me, which I later realized was really unhealthy. I would also get extremely hurt if they did something without me or didn't take me into consideration. In my romantic relationship, on the other hand, I've never felt like this, and I learned to express and communicate my needs, as well as to ask for attention when I need it. I just really cannot figure this out. Thank you for your answer. I love watching your videos and admire your work. Thank you. Okay. All right. Madeline, I can help. I think this is kind of complicated. This is very complicated. I'll be interested in what everybody says. All right. So I circled a bunch of things. First of all, you're 20 years old. That is very young. I know everybody says that, and I don't say that as a put down, but just that a lot can change. And so when you say you're in a happy relationship of 7 years, you guys have been together since you were 13. And I guess that's good. I think that's good. Occasionally that happens and it's like a really solid relationship. But I would say, given that your parents were alcoholic, I would just question a little bit about why you're in such a committed relationship at such a young age. But perhaps it's very good because you said that you can communicate your needs and it's really stable and you're happy. But you have this history of sort of getting friend limerent on people. And you know what? Yes, that is a thing. It can happen. And I don't know what happened in your other relationships, but this does sound a little bit limerent. But very interesting that you're not jealous or sad that he found a girlfriend and moved away. That is interesting. So this sounds like a particular flavor of limerence that you have, that this became a big deal to you. But I have a thought about this. Okay. This stuff with your parents and their alcoholism, it's pretty extreme. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. And your mom's mental health, and then you're feeling that you had to regulate the feelings of your mom and everybody else in order to keep the family in some kind of order. So that is a heavy burden. I was just talking in a video recently about overfunctioning. If that hasn't come out by the time I publish this video, it's coming out any day now. Over-functioning is where you do more than your share. This thing, like a child who has to sit there and think about how to regulate everybody's feelings, that's exhausting, Madeline. That's like so much work and kind of impossible to do. So whatever you were able to do, I applaud you. You did what you had to do to survive. I think this is a common thread. Limerence shows up in people who, a lot with alcoholic parents, where you have to manufacture safety, you have to manufacture hope, you have to manufacture love where there is no love. And I guess I'm not questioning, maybe your parents loved you, but I know how it is with alcoholism. I had parents like that too. And they may feel that deep down inside, but whatever is deep down inside is completely buried under the drama that's going on right now. It makes people very self-centered, right? So you go to this local bar, and I'm like, well, if you're in my country and you're 20 and you go to local bars, you're underage, and you live in a small town, so everybody knows you, and they shower you with attention because you're young and pretty, okay? So you met a guy, and you thought he would like your friend, but he likes you. So here's what I think is really significant about him. He's a musician. He's funny and intelligent. He has a lot of knowledge about music and art, and you admire that about him. And he's caring, you later said. He has these qualities, and I think what first has been shown to you is he has qualities that you value, and they're good qualities. Like, I value those things too. I like people who have those qualities too. And I was just wondering, like, do you not have enough of those qualities in your own self? Do you lack having enough people in your life who share those interests with you? Are you a little bit lonely to have people to appreciate those interests? Like, I have different people in my life, and some of them are really, really great to go see an art film with, and some of them are not. And some of them are really good to, have a great, deep philosophical conversation, and some of them are not. And I've learned you do need different kinds of people. But I think limerence can show up when you have a history of neglect and a lack of things that are fun and exciting for you in the present. And life is like that sometimes. It's not very exciting. And if you're working in a young person's job and you're living in a small town, of course somebody who's colorful and interesting who comes along and takes an interest, of course that's going to be captivating for you. Then you just notice that your interest in him went big. So if you hadn't had this thing that you told me that you've done this to a lot of friends, I would have said, I don't know, I think you're kind of in love with him. I think that's what's going on and you're not admitting it. But you told me you have a pattern of doing this with your friends where you adore them, you fit yourself to them, you want them to approve of you. And, Madeline, that's just like little girl of an alcoholic stuff. I totally get it. And sometimes we just have to sort of burn through all these habits. They start to feel bad And that's what causes us to change. So you're coming up upon a demand from yourself to like change, to have a life that's actually happy, not just happy in this abstract way that you can imagine in your mind, but you can't actually really have. I thought it was also interesting that you feel this thing for him, but he's older. Well, 10 years older is not necessarily a problem. But he doesn't have his life together. So if he's 30 and drinks too much and doesn't have his life together, yeah, not an ideal mate. Not yet. Perhaps he'll get it together later. But nobody should date somebody betting on that. I know, you're not even thinking of dating him, but I was just sort of like assessing, who is this guy? And you don't feel jealous. I don't know, there's something about this story where something feels hidden or suppressed. Just going to say it. People in the comments may have some observation. Beware if they say he's a narcissist. I'm not hearing that he's done anything wrong. He's been friendly. He helped you get a job. He got a girlfriend and moved somewhere else. Nothing's wrong here. It's just that your feelings about him are very complicated. Oh, yeah. Fun to be around. And okay, so you can't figure it out. You feel good about your relationship. You want it to work. So, all right, this is what I'm going to suggest to you, Madeline. I just think you need to broaden your horizons and have more fun. You don't have to change anything about your relationship. You don't have to pursue this guy. He's in a relationship right now. And I think that your feelings for him could actually be very alarming for his girlfriend now. Even though your intentions aren't there, the way that you kind of adore him, if she detects that, that would be really uncomfortable for her. So good. That's just sort of been taken off the field right now, because that also, the way you feel about him could really be unhealthy for your primary relationship, the relationship that you have right now with your boyfriend. And if you like that relationship, it's really good not to have people who are, kind of infiltrating your excitement, your romantic energy, being something that you might feel like you have to have hidden about yourself. So that's not ideal. But I think you do need fun. You need more time. You need more time enjoying art and music and being caring and having that exposure to those things in your life that are hard to get in a small town. You have to travel. So can you get to the nearest big city sometimes to go check out some culture? Like, I think that was what the draw was. And I think you can. And I really encourage you to do that. Limerence can't take hold when you're happy. It just tends to kind of roll off your back when you're happy and fulfilled. So if you're resonating with this and you want to see my list of tips of things that you can do to start feeling happier right now, like some things are a long-term thing, but some things you can just make these little adjustments today and start feeling happier. And I've got that list right here. If you can click on it and download it. And I'd love to share that with you. And I will see you very soon.